You know the expression, I don't know a lot about art, but I know what I like? Well, it seems what many investors like are the profits from investing in art sales. Here to give us a little art economic history is Levar Jackson from Visual Renaissance. Levar, welcome to Arise Xchange.
Hello, hello.
Picasso, a work of Picasso just went for $179 million at auction. Are you stunned by the numbers that some of this artwork is going for?
Out of context, it seems like the art may have sold for a lot of money, but a piece by Paul Gauguin sold for $300 million in February. So it's a continuing trend of high-selling art that are classical works.
What drives the art investment market?
The art investment market, unlike the stock market, is partly driven by value, but also partly driven by emotion. So if a piece of art connects with you or your family, may tend to bid higher than someone who may just be looking at it as a pure money piece.
Are the people who are spending $179 million for Picasso, are they investors or do they like the artwork? Are they hanging this in their home or are they putting it in storage?
The telephone bidders that won the Picasso are they are a trust, so they're more investors. But there are people who are spending quite a bit of money for their own personal collection.
You obviously advise people who are looking to buy art. Is there any moral problems with the idea that people buy this as a pure investment when, I mean, there's a good argument that these works of art should be in museums?
It's a dichotomy. Mm-hmm. So the business side of me says, yes, buy anything that's worth any money and resell it later. But the emotional side of me says that it really should go into museums. But even museums are the ones who are also bidding on the art.
What do you say to people who want to invest in art but don't know where to begin, whether they like art, how to get involved, but they're interested in kind of joining this? Can they do it?
Like with any investment, you definitely have to do your research. But right now, the internet is a huge tool for us to be able to find out trends, where everything's going, where the history of the art. You can really learn a lot more than what you could have done in the past.
Do people generally do well when they simply buy art that they like and not worried what it's going to be worth tomorrow?
That is a very excellent question where maybe you'll end up being surprised. When you don't set your goals very high, you'll end up with a piece of art that may end up being worth $1 million. The first Andy Warhol sold for $2,500 and sold for a couple of million, $60 million.
Overall, how would you address the investment in art over time? Do you see art prices in history going down dramatically? Is there an art recession, for example?
The market tends to not as a whole go down, but maybe certain styles of art that the market will move away from. So having a diverse collection of art would help mitigate that risk.
Do you find, right now, for example, what do you think is hot?
Of course, the classical works like Picasso, if you have a large amount of money, the classical works of Picasso, even more recent Andy Warhol will sell for quite a bit of money.
We always say, I've always heard, that art goes up after the artist unfortunately dies. So is part of the key to kind of find the hot artists who are alive today and will be worth something later? I mean, it's kind of morbid to say, but that is part of an investment strategy, I imagine.
It could be also the interest could wane. The style of art can become very unpopular. It's much the art market is very sensitive to announcements and like history of it.
And I want to ask you about the idea of moving a lot of these auctions online. How has the online and internet services changed the art investing world?
It's broadened it and given people access who may not have had access to it before. Where if you didn't live in a city center that was huge for art like New York or San Francisco, if you lived in Wichita, Kansas, it may be much harder for you to be able to bid and grow your own collection. Now you can bid online. Even Sotheby's does have accept online and telephone bids. And
do you find the demographics of people who are investing in art changing over the past few years?
Yes, it's become much more Joe Everyone versus an elitist.
What do you mean Joe Everyone? How do you define a Joe Everyone?
Meaning anyone who has the money and the capability to get online can now purchase art.
Yeah, and most of the art purchases happening not through auctions, I imagine, or are they?
The larger ticket items are happening through auctions, but the smaller ones, the ones that are underneath about $3,000, are happening online.
And with the economy improving, does that market only improve as well, or is it resistant to the economy?
It's very tied to disposable income. The better the market's doing, the better the art market is doing as well.
Levar Jackson from Visual Renaissance, thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.